personally, I like playing the babyface more. I can
Okay.
play both roles. I can play both roles for sure, but like some people are just natural at like one thing, you know, like Randy Orton. Like I always thought that he wasn't good as a babyface. He was always like the perfect heel. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? People had that face, just had that about him. And I think that's how I am as being a babyface.
It's time for Wrestling for the Culture, where we take a look inside to see what the wrestlers of color have been doing this week. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of Wrestling for the Culture. Coming up, I speak with Jon'Tae Kieth out of Detroit, Michigan. He comes on to discuss his career, how he got started, what it means for him to be a young black babyface. A lot of times, let's be real, we see a lot of the black wrestlers as heels in the business. Well, he discussed what it's like to be a babyface and also what it meant for him to team up with his brother. So, coming up, my interview with Jon'Tae Kieth. Here it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this episode of Wrestling for the Culture, I am honored to be joined by the one and only Jon'Tae Kieth. Jon'Tae, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, baby boy? You all right?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
Good, man. Just trying to stay safe out here. You feel me? Like, there's so much going on out here. You just gotta just stay in the house. Don't do nothing. So.
Yeah, well, you know what? The best part is that we get some time to talk wrestling.
Right, right.
So, the thing is, happy to have you on, get the chance to talk about your career and you explain how you got into the business and whatnot. So let's just, let's talk about, let the people know. When did you decide that you wanted to become a professional wrestler?
Man, ironically, because my cousin, he right here, he next to me. So I don't know, like, what was it when Jeff Hardy jumped off the cage at Unforgiven 2000? That's when I was like, yeah, I want to do this. But I didn't like start like the right way. You know, I kind of started like the rest of the millennials. We in the backyard. like, like I'm a product of the 2000s and whatnot. I started in the yard, and eventually I got trained in 2011 and whatnot. And that's when this journey started for me. All because of Jeff Hardy jumping off of a cage, bro.
Now, I got to
Like,
ask you this question. I usually ask a lot of people, but especially you being another young black man as myself. Did you get made fun of for your love of pro wrestling?
bro, honestly, nah. Like, it was weird because I do hear like a lot of people saying like it was a lot of stuff I had to go through because they wanted to be a pro wrestler, whatever. But I never really went through none of that. You know, like I told folks that I wanted to be a wrestler, and they was just like, "Oh, that's kind of sweet." You know, they was like, "That's different." But I never got made fun of about it because I was always like a class clown and stuff like that in school too. So I would be joking around. They probably didn't know if I was serious or not anyway. So
Oh, so you was one of the cool kids, so it didn't matter anyway.
I mean, you know, I was compared to like I didn't consider myself cool. I was just chilling, but you know, the stuff I liked and whatever I could have been, you know, with the nerds and whatnot. But you know, I was just cool with everybody. I guess everybody just fucking with me. We can
Now,
cuss, right? I'm
you good.
sorry.
You good. So now now what do people say now, like people you went to school with, now that they see you chasing after your dream?
I think now it's more like a damn, he was serious. Like he really went out and and wanted to do that WWE stuff. You feel me? So it's like now folks look at me and be like, "That's incredible! Like you actually found what you wanted to do at a young age and you stuck to it." You know, so because I was 11, like I said, I was 11 when I found out I wanted to be a wrestler.
Now you've been wrestling about 10 years now, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
And
Mhm.
when did who trained you and who have been some of your mentors in the business?
Oh man. Well, quick story. I found out I had like uncles in the business out in Michigan. They used to wrestle out in the 90s. Their name was the Cole Brothers, and they was like one of the biggest, well, not biggest names, but they was well known, I should say, in the Michigan scene or whatever. And I was like, damn, I didn't know I had uncles in the business all this time. I could have got trained by them. So they found out that I was like still doing backyard wrestling and stuff like that. And they was like, bro, no. Like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do this shit right. So they worked with me for a little minute, and they suggested me to Briar Willington. He's also like a trainer out here in Michigan and whatnot. Really good, underrated. Shout out to Briar. But he worked with me for a minute, and he was actually my first pro match. After that, I just started doing like little seminars and stuff like that. So I got trained by like Dave Chris. He's part of the OVE squad down in Impact.
Yeah, shout out to Dave, one of my good buddies.
Yeah, Dave Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dave, he's the man. And I was also down at the dojo down in LA. They got this little dojo for New Japan down there that's going on, and I was part of it, like the second class.
Now, how is it being in the dojo? Is it similar to the stories that you hear? How like the training regimen is over in Japan, like real stiff and whatnot?
Um, it's it's a little snug, yeah. It's definitely a little snug for sure, but it teaches you like it's more like discipline. Like I've been to like a few different seminars here in the around the states or whatever, but it's nothing like learning that in like the dojo because they work on like your spirit. They teach you more things, not so wrestling related, but more to like who you are as a person, and that's what like got me out there. I think that's why I stayed. A lot of people like a few people quit. A few folks was throwing up. Like it was rough. It was brutal, but that's what they wanted. They wanted to see if you like really love this business and stuff like that. So I learned more about myself more than anything. Like damn the moves, like how to put the shit on people. It was more so like a wake up call.
Now, I've heard Hulk Hogan say when he went over and Hiro Masuda and then broke his legs immediately. So it sounds like it's maybe not to that extreme, but it seems like they want to make sure that you're passionate about this.
Yeah, for sure. And they really stress like conditioning. You know, they really be like, you gotta be in shape, you gotta be in shape, you gotta be in shape. Like, and then too, they teach you like the stories. Well, not the stories, but like the art of it is like with the fans and stuff like that. Because the fans are so different than like the U.S. fans. They respect it more. It's treated more so like an actual like basketball, like actual, you know.
Yeah. Now,
Right.
when you over there, you said like I've heard that's what they said. Like a lot of times the fan they really appreciate it. It's a work of art. It's
Yeah.
competition to them. How has that helped you translate when you get back into just say like different indies, the more Americanized style when you're in there wrestling people who kind of maybe not be as disciplined? How does that help you kind of bring all that like bring them back to earth?
Well, for me, I just get to know the person now. You know, I just try to figure out who I'm working with, just figure out what type of mood they're in and stuff like that. Because everybody's story is different. So if we can just like create something, like we can come like to a common ground of any kind and whatnot, then we're pretty much good. Like they're pretty much humble anyway nowadays. Like that's one thing I can say about like my generation, my era, that we really just we are pretty humble. Like despite of what the older generation says about us, like we are like mad humble. Like we don't really have to worry about that type of stuff.
Now, would you say, but about being in this generation, having all this access to information, and we think about like the WWE network really at our fingertips, YouTube,
Right.
how has that helped you as far as like character development? And are you somebody who watch a lot of documentaries? And if so, who are like the people that you're studying?
I study so many people, and it's not even like wrestling related, honestly. Like, cause, but it does work because I do look at guys like Jake the Snake Roberts, you know, guys that were good on the stick and whatnot. So it's important when you can go and access stuff like that and watch guys like Jake the Snake, Dusty Rhodes, The Rock, or whatever. But as far as me, I study like artists, like musicians. Like I look at crowd control type stuff, you know, like guys that was like Prince or Jim Morrison, like actual performers and like try to get the crowd invested. Like that's who I mostly study, is different artists.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up. You was talking about getting the crowd invested. Has there been a time when you've gotten the crowd too invested where you've had like, if you say you're playing heel, somebody really want to
Mhm.
fight you, or if you're playing babyface, a woman really want to like take you home with her?
I ain't trying to like brag or nothing, but like it's been a few girls that go home with me in the business, whatnot, like fans and stuff. But I ain't trying to like. I'm in a relationship now, so I can't be talking like that. But you gonna get in trouble, bro. No,
Hey,
but
look, I wasn't trying to get you in trouble, but I know, like for instance, I take a Young and the Restless character, Nick Newman, played by well, Josh Morrow plays Nick Newman. And he said, like,
no, it's
you know,
it's
the
it's all
aunties
good.
love
No.
him, so, you know.
It's all good. But yeah, I have like because personally I like playing the babyface more. I can
Okay.
play both roles. I can play both roles for sure. But like some people are just natural at like one thing. You know, like Randy Orton. Like I always thought that he wasn't good as a babyface. He was always like the perfect heel. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? People had that face, just had that about him. And I think that's how I am as being a babyface. I can get so much sympathy, bro. So much sympathy as a babyface because I can literally like have people like just beat my ass. And they're like, "Oh my god, like please win, bro. I'm sick of you getting beat like this stuff." Like, you know what I'm saying? But as a heel, I'm just a naturally good person, dog. So I can
I'm
do it
glad you.
because
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I ain't touch, but I can do it because I know how to act and whatnot. But I'm just a naturally good person, dog. Like people would prefer me being a baby face than a heel for sure.
Well, I'm gonna be straight up because one of the things I noticed about when I looked at like your clips and matches and stuff is it's different. You always see. I'm gonna be real, and you don't have to if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to co-sign. But a lot of
Yeah.
times when black people play the baby face, they come off as cornballs or corny. Um, a lot of people felt that way about the New Day at first. I ain't gonna say I
Right.
did, but a lot of people felt it was corny, but you found a way to kind of be a cool black baby face, and that's not too many of them in wrestling.
Thank you, man. That's what's up.
Now, what would you say? Do you think having natural charisma growing up helped you do that?
Well, I was pretty like different than how I am now. Like I was like mad withdrawn when I was a little kid. Like I didn't like really break out of my shell until I hit maybe middle school. I was 12. Then I became like a class clown, shit like that. But I was more so withdrawn. I was shy as hell. You couldn't catch me at a show. Like, but now I just broke into being like a Leo. So
Are
I'm
you a
good
Leo
now.
too?
Yeah, I'm definitely a Leo.
I'm August 7th.
July 31st.
Hey, that's what's up. So now, I know you and your brother both wrestle. What does it mean when you get to like team with your brother? Like, obviously that's natural chemistry, but like, can you just talk about like how much that means to you?
Man, this dude has helped me out so much, bro. Like not even on like wrestling shit, like, but Cass is a solid dude. So to have him as like my tag partner, that shit was crazy. Cause fun fact, he trained me. He was my first trainer. I take that back. When I first started in the yard, he was the one that was like, "All right, man, come on, get in the ring." He watched me take my first bump. You know, he was in the ring when I caught my first concussion. Like just all types of shit. So
Wow.
Cass is like that's my man. It's like 100 grand. Like I don't even like get like mad emotional, but like Cass is my boy. If I ever get put on like hardcore, like say WWE came at me tomorrow or AEW came at me tomorrow, like I'm not going unless Cass go. For real, for real.
That's deep because you don't hear a lot of people say that. It's
Right.
like, wow, I get myself over. That's fine. And
Yeah.
even siblings, even brothers, your brothers and sisters, cousins, they will. well, I gotta go. Now there are cases where sometimes the sibling will say, "No, go get yours secured, then come back and get me." But
Right, right.
to hear you say that, that's deep. And y'all
Mm.
won some tag titles, right?
Yeah, we've been teaming since 2000. I say like 15,
Mm-hmm.
15 or 16, and through that whole run, we only won the tag titles like maybe twice. Like promoters was on some bullshit, so you know, here and there, they'll give us the titles what they trusted us and stuff like that. But yeah, we only held it like twice.
Yeah. Now, when you can you talk about what it meant the first time when y'all won them? I've heard Kevin Nash said that Ric Flair told him that there are two things. Well, I'm gonna preface this with saying you'll never hear me use the F word, even that word being fake when it comes to wrestling. I'm not a wrestler. I leave that up to you guys. I'm a journalist. I will never disrespect what y'all do in the ring. If y'all say it's fake, that's on you. I would never do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But he said there's two things that's real: your first championship win and your Hall of Fame win. Can you
Mm-hmm.
talk about the first what it meant the first time when you won a championship, and talk about the first time it meant when you won a championship with your brother?
The first time I won the championship, it was the cruiserweight title. I was in Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and that was coming off of like a big tragedy that just happened. Like one of the most traumatic things in my life had just happened. Like, um, my then girlfriend back in 2016 had just died, and I
Man,
had a show like that weekend or
I'm
whatever,
sorry to hear that.
and I couldn't like you know do nothing. So I took that whole year off. So when I had ended up winning like the cruiserweight title, they dedicated that. Well, I dedicated. I can't even talk. I dedicated that to her and whatnot. So that's why it meant a lot to me that night. But as far as me and Cass, it was just a culmination of everything, bro. Like we've been through it all. Like I remember when he first picked me up, I was like 15. I was headed nowhere. I was just another like young dumb teenagers like just out here running wild. Cass was like, fuck that, bro. Like, you got mad potential. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you make it. You know what I'm saying? I've been through some shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's deeper than wrestling. So when we won the tag titles, I was just like, that was like my thank you to him. You know what I'm saying? He saved my life, bro. You feel me? Like he saved my life. You know what I'm saying? So it was that was it was deep on my end. He'll probably tell you something different. He'll probably be like, "No, that's my little brother. You know what I'm saying? That's little bro. I'm always look out for little bro. But you know, me, you gonna hear like maybe you gonna hear a different story.
And now, like when you look back, what's been the highlight of your career? Or maybe I'll say this, obviously you mentioned like title wins, but what's been like some of your best matches and your favorite people to work with?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like this has been like these past few years have been my best years. I've been wrestling for 10 years, and I can only like say I can count for like 2017, 2018, 2019, and what's going on now. Like I feel like I'm just now, starting to understand how things work. And that's just because of different people I was working with. Because you always got to work with different people that's better than you. Otherwise, you're gonna stay the same. You know what I'm saying? So working with guys like Trey, Trey McGill,
Mm-hmm.
and another fun fact: me and him started in the Indies together. You know what I'm saying? So I've known him since he was out here wrestling out here in Michigan in this little weak ass company called TXWE, bro. TXWE, bro. And I remember he did like a suicide dive and fucked his face up. That's the first time I saw bro, and I was like, oh, he ain't coming back. and he never came back. So ended up reuniting up with him again in Toledo in 2015, and then we just started doing like our different things after that. So I go way back with him, like so my match with him meant a lot to me. This other cat named Dre Jacobs, another underrated cat out of Michigan. mad underrated, bro. Like this dude, we been around the same age. We all been wrestling like around the same times and stuff like that. So Dre, um, MM3, I just wrestled him. Like there's so many people, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I can't just sit it down. But like I said, from 2017 on to now is when I just started like figuring it out. I was so lost prior. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even like looking at my matches prior to 2017 or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Mhm.
mean, the best part is, is improvement and getting better. Like you said, it's you if you're not working with better people, then how can you get better? I know as a producer and as a video editor, and I love working with people who've been doing this longer than I have. That way I can learn some tricks to the trade, you know
Exactly. Exactly.
you never stop learning, no matter what business you in.
Mhm. Exactly. No matter
Now,
what it is.
I mentioned off the air, but one of our good mutual friends, uh, Amber Rodriguez, shout out to Amber, had kind of introduced me to you. She told me about your
Yeah.
work, and one of the things she said is that you're outspoken. Have no problem speaking your mind. Now, how does that work a lot of times as a baby face? We've heard the stories of Shawn Michaels being, we find out later, like when he was on that mad babyface run in '96, he was one of the
Mhm.
most outspoken people in the locker room. What is it
Mhm.
about you that prevents you from biting your tongue?
My mom. I think I get that from her. My mom's like mad feisty. You know, she always told me like just say how you feel. You know, she did tell me like if you ain't got nothing to say, then don't say nothing at all. But I don't really take that advice too well because I'm a prideful person, and I just, I'm not gonna lash out on you because I'm a piece of shit. Like I'm gonna just lash out if I think something's stupid. If I don't agree with it, I'm gonna tell you about it. And
Mhm.
it's just up to that. It's just up to them if they want to argue with me about it. Cause I don't have to argue with anybody. You know what I'm saying? I can just say my piece if needed, and then be gone. It's just people around me that have an attitude, I guess. But as far as being like the baby face though, like it's just natural. I just treat the fans like I said. I just treat them all like regular people. Like you know, I guess I could be a tweener if that's the case. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah, because
saying?
I can imagine sometimes, like if you, let's just say you got to speak your mind in the locker room, and then you got to go out there and perform. You got to essentially like turn it off and turn it on. You got to go from heel. In some cases, because sometimes you could be the baby face that's vocal when you're speaking for everybody, but when you're speaking for some, and you going one on one with say the promoter, in a sense you're acting as a heel because you had believe in something that they may not.
Yeah.
Then you got to hurry up and go out there and switch it on.
Right. See, now you got to constantly play like five different people after every
Hmm.
situation happens. So yeah, um, like I said, but I can get like mad sympathy, and even from a situation like that. See, that's the art of wrestling right there. It's so like you can add stuff to it. A situation just like that, I can put that in my story. Like if I'm a baby face and I just went through some shit like that, then you know it it's gonna like show in the way that I sell and whatnot. It's just gonna all that just gonna just get involved in the match. So I
Hmm.
can make a story out of that.
Now, have you taken like acting classes to help you out?
Last time I took acting classes was like 2012,
Okay.
and I was like, yeah, maybe I was like 18, 18, and that's when I took acting classes with my ex girlfriend, and
Gotcha.
I didn't like pass or nothing like that. I ended up quitting because she didn't go anymore, and I'm in love and I'm stupid, and I ain't want to go neither. So
Now, would you have you thought about like going back?
nah, I think that was just a phase, bro. Honestly, I think that was all just like kind of like a phase, because I mean, in some degree, I kind of am acting still. You know what I mean? Like when I'm out doing shows, I gotta put on a different persona. It's just not like in that way.
Yeah. Now, before I let you go, I like to do this rapid fire session. You know, we all wrestling fans, so it's questions where some of these things we may be on one side or the other, and somehow we may not be. We may be on the same side as the same, somehow we may not be. So this should be a rapid fire, really quick. All right, your favorite wrestler all time?
Jeff Hardy,
Okay, and favorite era of wrestling?
Ruthless Aggression,
Okay, and you have an opportunity to perform at either shows. Which one and who's your opponent? WrestleMania or Wrestle Kingdom?
WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I know where I'm going with one of the questions. I'll go right to it. Brett or Sean? It's safe to say Sean.
Yeah.
Okay. Flair or Hogan?
Yeah. Now that I'm older, like shit, like questions like that, like I gotta think about because I'm gonna go with Hogan.
All right.
Unpopular, but I'm gonna go
Rock or Austin?
Rock.
Cena or Orton?
Cena for sure.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the ladies really quick. Trish or Lita?
Damn, I gotta go with bigger influence. I'm gonna go with Lita.
All right. AJ or Paige?
Definitely Paige, cause yeah, the women's revolution thing. So for sure, she started that shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
Paige.
Charlotte or Becky?
Man, I'm gonna go with Charlotte. Like, cause
Okay.
Becky, bro, I'm sick of Becky, man. I'm going with Charlotte.
You too, huh?
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of heat for it, but I've been honest. I was like, look, I enjoyed it last year, but I think she held on that title a little too long.
Yeah, man, I'm good on Becky right now.
Sasha or Bailey?
You know what? I used to get these comparisons a lot, for real, because I was in like one of these wrestling groups, and they used to always have like some little Sasha Bailey, whatever. And I used to always see people saying like Sasha, but like, nah, I'm gonna go with Bailey. Like, I'm definitely gonna go with Bailey.
Okay. And then let's see, Ronda or Shayna?
Ronda a killer, and she a bigger draw. I'm going with Ronda.
And last but not least, I gotta ask you for the culture, Naomi or Bianca Belair?
Damn. Damn. Oh, that's messed up, bro. I don't know. Bianca, they both down there the same person. They both athletic as hell. I'm gonna go with Bianca. No, I love you. I'm gonna go with Bianca. She be motherfucking with her hair.
I know, right? I've said this. At one point, I was ready to say that when it was all said and done, Charlotte Flair was going to be the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Then Royal Rumble happened, and then all the stuff after. I said, "Wait a minute, let me dial back on that because I think Bianca, it's going to be one of them two for sure."
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we get out of here, is there anything that if I know you better that I would have asked you that you would want to discuss in this conversation?
No, not really. Everything with me, like I'm just really good off vibes, bro. I think that's how all of us are nowadays, especially with everything that's been going on. Like now, you just want to vibe out and just chill and just have a conversation. You know what I mean? So I think everything was all gravy. I'd love to come back, honestly. And shout out to Amber for even hooking this up. It's a lot of stuff that I got a chance to talk about that I ain't really, talk about. Like the whole thing with Cass. Like a lot of folks don't know our history. They just know that we tight,
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming on. It definitely won't be the last. I'm definitely wishing you well in your career. Feel free to tag me in clips. I'll definitely share it with my networks. Whatever we can do to help each other out. I definitely want, more eyeballs on you because like I said, I've watched your matches. I love what I saw. So keep it up, man.
Thank you, man, and that means a lot for sure. Like, cause I worked my ass off, bro. Like, Amber will tell you, cause I've talked to her about it a few times, but like that's why we kind of got like real cool because I understand where she was coming from with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I told her, and she told me, and I just reciprocated back to her. But she was like, I would have been somewhere, like been like heavier in the game and whatnot. Like I know for a fact that Amber could get into AEW or shit NXT or wherever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
he's mad good.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen people out there. I'm a shoot. I've seen people out there that's not near as good as she is, or even because I think she's better now. But I see people who, when they
Mm-hmm.
got their opportunities, wasn't good where she was. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Right.
they were better than them, but of course, hey, I'm biased. That's my little sister, so I don't care. I'm just look. I tell people all the time, I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna let you know when I'm biased. It's when I'm trying to present my bias as
Yeah, for
fact. That's
sure.
when it's an
Family look
issue.
out for family.
Huh?
I said, family look out for family. That's how it be.
Yeah, we definitely gotta get you in the DMV. Gotta get these promoters down here, promoters out there listening. Jon'Tae Kieth, make sure you bring him to the Maryland, DC, New York, all that. Bring him over to the East Coast. Bring them all over, man.
Go, man. Let's go. East Coast.
Yeah, so but all right, bro. Make sure you be safe out there as we battle COVID-19. Real quick, are you is this an opportunity where you allowing your body to rest, or are you still out there kind of doing the little backyard warm-ups and stuff?
I mean, at this point, I'm just chilling, man. I'm just getting everything together, making sure I get enough rest.
Yeah.
I'm just, if anything is getting stronger, it's my mind that's getting stronger, bro. That's the only thing.
There you
That's the only
go.
thing
I look at it like, shoot, um, it's an opportunity for, like you said, to let your mind rest, get clear, get refocused, regenerated. I can't wait till the time when all this is over and we get some independent wrestling going again because I know everybody gonna go out there and kill it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the only thing that this did was give a lot of artists a lot of chances to think, to go out
Hmm.
there and think. And once everybody starts to think and use their head, they start getting more creative, start getting these ideas and whatnot, then you're gonna see something special out of everybody. So
Yeah.
I can't wait till it's over too, and me included. I've been thinking of some shit too.
I know you have. I know you have. But all right, man, you take it easy. Ladies and gentlemen, Jon'Tae Kieth. Oh, real quick, I almost forgot. Let the people know where they can follow you.
Oh, well, I got kicked off of Instagram because somebody, I don't know, but it's a person on Instagram right now that's using my name, and it's not me. So report that shit if y'all if y'all can. But y'all can really just find me on Facebook. Jon'Tae Kieth, that's my name. I'm always posting something. Y'all gonna see me talk about something. I'm gonna make y'all laugh. I'm posting wrestling, whatever y'all want to see. Just hit me up. Um, I would say Twitter, but I don't be on Twitter. Twitter is too damn ratchet. I'm straight. So just go ahead and just find me on Facebook. And that's all y'all need to know. I'm gonna make y'all laugh with some statuses, and y'all gonna see my videos, and we gonna have a good time. That's about it.
I would say at least drop your matches on Twitter. You never know who could see it, who could go viral. You know what I mean? If you don't want to engage, just drop the matches and say what you gotta say and leave.
That's actually true. I take that back. The only time I am on Twitter is when I drop like my videos or something like that. So y'all can follow me at Tay Kieth. Go watch that, share it, whatever y'all want to do with it. But that's the only time I'll be on Twitter. There we go.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's Jon'Tae Kieth. This is an episode of Wrestling for the Culture. Make sure you subscribe to the Wrestling Realm at Wrestling Realm. Make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe to the show, like the fan page, and make sure you follow me at Brian H. Waters. Till the next time, so long, everybody.